my gosh, I don't know how my mom survived having a child like me. Picture this, a kid who was a whirlwind of curiosity and mischief, always asking questions and constantly getting into trouble. Yet, that was me, growing up. Yep, that was me. Growing up, I was a force to be reckoned with. A pint sized revel, always going against the norm. Today, I'm sharing with you a playlist of the wild and crazy stories from my childhood that will leave you gasping for the next sentence. Let's rewind to when I was 3 years old. My parents had just built our house on a cul-de-sac right next to my grandparents' place. The house was brand new, constructed by my grandfather, who was a contractor. It was a picturesque setting, with our backyard bordering a plot where my grandparents and parents decided to grow fresh blueberries. I remember watching them plant the bushes, filled with anticipation for the day they would bloom. As the bushes started to bear fruit, I was mesmerized. The berries went from tiny green buds to plump green. As the bushes started to bear fruit, I was mesmerized. The berries went from tiny green buds to plump green orbs. I could hardly wait. One day I asked my grandmother and my mom, "The berries are out. Can we pick them?" They chuckled and said, "Not yet, Sonny. They're still green. We need to wait until they turn blue and are ripe for picking." Now, here's the kicker. I later discovered that my mom and grandmother were eagerly awaiting to make their first batch of homemade blueberry jam. They had been dreaming and talking about this for months. Let's see how that turned out. Shall we? Fast forward a few weeks. The blueberries bushes were thriving, and the berries were huge, but still a beautiful shade of green. I must have been about 5 years of age when, one sunny afternoon, I decided to surprise my mom and grandma. I grabbed a huge bowl and marched outside with a mission. Let's fast forward a few weeks. The blueberry bushes were thriving. The berries were huge, but still a beautiful shade of green. I must have been about 5 years old when, one sunny afternoon, I decided to surprise my mom and grandmother. I grabbed a huge bowl and marched outside with a mission. I picked every single blueberry I could find. I didn't leave a single berry on the bushes. I was a diligent picker, and I was sure they would be thrilled. Picture this. I walked into the house, beaming with pride, holding a massive bowl of green blueberries. The looks on their faces were absolutely priceless. They were stunned into silence. Finally, my mom broke the silence with a mix of disbelief and laughter. "What on earth are we gonna do with green berries?" It was in that moment that I learned a valuable lesson about patience and timing. But more than that, it became one of those legendary stories that my family would tell over and over again, laughing every single time. It's a story about love, family, and the innocent mischief of childhood, myself. And let me tell you, that was just one of many of the wild and crazy stories from my past. Stay tuned, because there are plenty more where that came from. Trust me, you won't want to miss the next one. Gosh, as I reflect and ponder on that, I started this playlist a few years ago, and I haven't posted anything in a while. So if you haven't seen this playlist, check it out. There's a lot of fun stuff in there. And let me know your thoughts. How would you survive if you were my parent or if you were my mother? I don't know how my mom was able to put up with me. I was definitely Dennis the Menace. I don't know that show or the movie that they made, but back in the 60s there was a show about Dennis the Menace, and I was him. Well, 15 years later, I guess you could say. Let me know if you want to hear more stories from my past. I would love to get my mother on here, as she's a hoot.